It's a beautiful morning. I think I'll go.
Welcome, everyone. This is Friends of Ricky's Paddle Out. A lot of families mourning in other ways, different ways. This is the Friends of Ricky's Paddle Out. Thank you all for being here. It's a great morning, sun shining. We might have some waves actually to ride in after we paddle. So many of you know and love Ricky. So it's great to have you here this morning. His nickname, I would call him Sunshine Superman. And Superman is a great name for him. And Dave Lambert we went to see Ricky the last 2 or 3 days before he died. And David picked up a Superman shirt, just perfect timing, and I don't know where you would have found that on second, on minutes notice, but it was very fitting for Ricky. Right, David? First, I'd like to say, Pam Wilkinson and family, many prayers are going out to you for the loss of your grandson just a few weeks ago. I know you're still grieving. Hey, Terry. I know how hard that must be for you. And I know people say, yeah, I know how hard it is. A lot of people don't know how hard it is, but we feel your grief. Amber, Brittany, grandchildren, Pam, Michelle, Jessica, all the family that's here. We want you to know there's a big family of friends here that are always here for you. And we're here not to grieve, right? I saw some things on Facebook that said, let's not be sad. Well, we're not sad because we know Ricky. Ricky was like full of energy. Let's hear for Ricky. Ricky Wilkinson, man. Guy was unbelievable. If you knew Ricky, you knew a very witty and a very intelligent man. A lot of people didn't know that about Ricky. I would say he was on the edge of genius. His quotes, his Jack Nicholson impressions. He knew lines from movies. He was a very, very smart man. Thanks to Pam, Lambert, Farrar, Mitch, all you guys. We worked quick time to get this done. We thought about putting it off a couple weeks. We said, no, let's go ahead and get moving on this. And we know that there's a lot of y'all that want to tell Ricky's story. So I'm going to say what I want to say real quick, and then I'm going to hand the mic over. Ricky and I began our friendship renewed 10 or 11 years ago. He would come to my band gigs, and I'd see him sitting there alone, and we started talking about old friends, Hicksons, surfing. We had a lot of mutual friends, but through Ricky, I have met a lot of people. And I think that's what he did. I always say he brings people together. A few years before, 10 or 11 years ago when we met, he had licked Hodgkin's disease stage 4, and y'all probably know that. He had had cancer before that, after that. He had licked everything. The guy would, invincible. It was like the cat of many, many lives, and I remember texting people thinking, hey, you better be ready, right? Nah, just hold on, everything's going to be fine. Back and forth to Mayo. This one got a hold of him, though, and he fought to the very end, very brave as he was. Ricky stayed with me a couple of months back years ago. He needed a place. He did so many things for me. Not only things, but he shared his insight, determined wisdom, his spirit, which was very contagious. I've always called him the silent giver. He likes to give. He didn't care about receiving. I've given him stuff like he gave me stuff, like leave it on the doorstep. Well, it's just another thing to him. He wanted to give stuff to people, like leave stuff on my doorstep. If something was there and I had no idea, what's this? Well, Ricky was by the house, right? Very often it was a t-shirt. Everybody got t-shirts on from Ricky? Yeah, Brian. Hey, check this out. Dewey Weber. And he had lots of Weber shirts. I think David said he's got a couple of them, and So Ricky, I guess, writing all this stuff, I'm thinking, what do I say? Ricky has seen all sides of life. And I think even walking on this planet, he's kind of in the cosmos now, looking down, as he may put it, I think, looking down on all of us. He taught me a few bullet points for me, okay? He taught me to drink protein shakes every morning. And I don't think I've missed more than 4 or 5, maybe a handful of mornings without a protein shake in the last 6 or 7 years, okay? He told me about working on yachts, going to Europe, at a moment's notice, taking off, flying somewhere to work on a project for a month, somewhere. He always told me that he won't ever go over the bridge for surgery. I always like that because we talk about crossing the ditch. We don't like to do that. He'd roll in my driveway with this silver van. It was held together with duct tape. If you remember the silver van, you couldn't see through any of the windows except the windshield because stickers were everywhere. One time I gave him a Birdwell sticker. That's the only thing he was lacking. And he couldn't find a place to put it at first. It was so funny, but yeah, he found a place. He found a place for all the stickers. Another thing about Ricky, he told his friends how much they meant to him. He'd make a special call for that. After getting through his Hodgkin's years ago, he told me that he got up every morning to see the sunset. Live each day like it was the last. Right, Hutto? That's what he did. He taught me to be a better friend. I know that. And he brought people together. A lot of you, without Ricky, I would not know. And so that's one, blessing for me. His Jack Nicholson quotes, so funny. And he even had the shades where he'd have them here and then he'd wrinkle his nose and they'd drop down here. I mean, that's classic Ricky. The circle of gratitude, if somebody does something for you, pay it back tenfold. That's what he did. Let brotherly love abide is his motto. He would sit at my house and play guitar and sing songs, and I have 2 on video that I'm going to make sure his daughters get. Classic. I heard this from Pam. Pam and Landis were talking, and evidently there's a movie called What Dreams May Come. So Ricky and Pam talking. When it's time to go to the cosmos, Ricky told Pam, we will be together again. Pam asks, how do I find you? And Ricky says, just ask, I'll be waiting for you. How about that? Years ago, Ricky asked me to do a favor. He hadn't asked for many favors. My last thing here is that his philosophy of life is the Hunter H. Thompson quote. I had him a poster made and framed it. Here's how it reads, and this is Ricky, and this is exactly how Ricky led life. Life should not be a journey to the grave with the intention of arriving safely in a pretty and well-preserved body, but rather to skid broadside in a cloud of smoke, thoroughly used up, totally worn out, and loudly proclaiming, wow, what a ride. That's Ricky. And the last thing I'm going to say is that yellow surfboard there, Rozo, made that surfboard in 2003 for Tim New. It showed up in Sunrise about 4 years ago. Ricky bought it. And it's laying on my bed when I come home from work. That's yours. That's a treasure for me.
Well, Hank just about said it all. I moved away from here in 1980, and I'm just coming home. And Ricky and I, Facebook has got a lot of negative stuff about it, but we reconnected on Facebook and we got to know each other. And he was in Colorado when we started communicating, and his Hodgkin's thing had blown up and everything. But this is the guy Ricky was, and probably still is up there. I mean, look at this weather. I think he had something to do with this, because it was, if you looked at the forecast yesterday, I thought we'd be standing in the rain this morning, but thanks, Rick.
There you go, Ricky. Thank you.
Good job.
Yeah, it just keeps giving, So anyway, the deal is with Ricky, he was out there in Colorado, and he had, he was getting chemo and all that other stuff. Well, I don't know anybody in the world that this doctor took a liking to Ricky and moved Ricky into his house, and gave him individualized, personalized care. And I think Ricky's the only guy that could just put out the vibe and everything else, to where this doctor just fell in love with him and brought him back. And he's the most positive person I ever met. And I can't tell you how many times I went to the mailbox and there'd be a CD with a whole bunch of music on it, and speaking of Hunter S. Thompson, anything that had anything to do with Hunter Thompson, he sent me the article. And he always sent me T-shirts, and they were always too small, and I think he was just fucking with me. And they were all Dewey Weber shirts. The last one was a red one. And he's the most positive guy I ever met in my life. And I'll just tell you, and I was blessed to spend some time with him in the last couple of days. And he even had a T-shirt, which I think Rosa was wearing one today. It just said, "Just passing through." And that was his shirt. And so anyway, his shoulder was bothering him, right? So I went and got some Icy Hot, because he was using this BioFreeze, and he was just continually using it. Obviously, it wasn't working. So I go up and on Thursday, and I knock on the door, and I said, "Look at Pam, this blah, 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 blah. I'm bringing this Icy Hot." And he goes, "Look at Farrar. He's thrown everybody out that's come up here today. So go up there and take your chances." So I walk up there just totally intimidated, and I kind of stand away from the bed, and I throw the Icy Hot after him, and I said, "Look I'm just going to drop this off, and I'll go." He was with Dave Dorr, his lifelong buddy, who probably can't tell you half of the stuff they did, because there's probably some statute of limitations with that. But so I'm walking out, and Amber's sitting in the chair, and she just, "Thank you so much." She got up, and Ricky looks at me, and he goes, "Farrar, sit down." And I went, "Oh my God." And I got to spend a couple of minutes with him, but I got to tell you something. He was positive all the way to the end. He wasn't afraid. He was looking forward to this. And I just hope that when my time comes, I can go out with such a positive attitude that he had. And I learned a lot from him, a lot. And I love him. And I know it's supposed to be happy, but a friend of mine sent me a quote from John F. Kennedy that he wrote in the 60s. And of course, I'm really bad at memorizing it, so I'm going to probably butcher it. But it basically said, "In our veins, our blood, our sweat, and our tears all have the same percentage of salt that's in the ocean." So whenever we go down to surf, sail, or just look at the ocean, it's all part of us. And someday, we're all going to come back from whence we came. And I think that's what we're doing here today. We're sending him back to the ocean, and we're all going to want to belong when it's all over. So I'll just start repeating myself. So that's all I have to say about him. Just what a wonderful guy.
You guys are too slow.
Don't say anything that's going to put yourself in jail, Charlie.
No. I'm going to keep this. Is this thing is working? Okay. Yeah. Nice sound system. I'm going to keep this brief, folks, because these things go really long, And I promised my sister I would read this because she couldn't be here today, and catch hell if I don't. Her husband, my brother-in-law, was in the hospital. Pardon me? Okay. I gotta kiss this damn thing. My brother-in-law was in the hospital with tongue cancer recently, and Jenny got a call from Ricky. So she said less than 2 months after got Bobby home from the hospital, Ricky called me after finding out about Bobby's cancer and surgery. He was sweet and kind, talked to me for a long time, even though he was battling his own health issues. That's who Ricky was, kind and caring of others. He spread his love and his love of life to countless people. He brought joy and happiness to everyone he touched. We will miss you, my friend. That's my sister said. Those are my sister's words. I've just got one little quick anecdote, and I'm going to get off. Everybody was talking about how Ricky loves to give people stuff. And a couple of Christmases ago, he called me up on the phone, and he said, "Hey, did you see that I dropped something off on your doorstep?" I said, "Really? Didn't go out there yet." He said, "Well, go out and fetch it." I go, went outside. There's a card. I open it up. It's a Christmas card, and 5 crisp $20 bills fall out of the card. I called him up. I said, "Rick, you don't owe me any money, man. What's this all about?" He said, "Yeah, well, that drawing you did for me, maybe I didn't pay you enough. Here, Merry Christmas." He loved to play Santa Claus, and Ricky did that every day. Every day. That's it for me. Who's coming? Who's coming? Who's next?
I can't really add much more because everything that all of y'all have said have been really my experience with Will. Thanks to Dave Dorr in the 70s when we were in Gainesville, I met Rick. I mean, even though he lived at the beach, but he was a few years younger than me. But this rash card right here came in the mail from Rick, just out of the blue, you know. And we talked for the last 10, 12, 15 years, either texting or on the telephone every week. And the thing is I don't know how he fit it in, because I know he did that to just, how many of you guys and gals would hear from Ricky just out of the blue? And for the most part, even when he was in dire straits, there was always this sunny, positive outlook, the greatest optimist I've ever known. And how could you ask for a better friend in life than somebody who is a poet, a musician, an author, a philosopher, a surfer, I should have put that first, right? And just all around amazing human being. And like I said, I can't really say any more than that, except that I just wanted everybody to know that I'm so proud that he was my friend. That's it.
I'm taking my hat off.
I'm glad to see so many people show up for this occasion. It's sad in a way, but in another way, it's pretty nice. I met Ricky when I was 14 years old, and that was decades and decades ago. And he used to bully us little surfers. He was a few years older, but his nickname back then was Wild Man. If any of y'all remember that, he came up with some crazy ideas and stuff, and he'd go through with it. And that nickname, to me, still sticks today, is Wild Man. He is Superman because of what he's gone through, but the original Ricky was one of a kind, absolutely. And I'm grateful for the years that I've known him. Like all of y'all, I got stuff from him, messages. Last thing he left me was a picture that him and Dora took of the last shuttle flight that they took at 3:30 in the morning from Castle Marina. I think some of y'all probably got one of those too. But yeah, just like Ricky, I mean, I'm in the house. He doesn't knock, doesn't say nothing. We keep the garage door open just a little bit. And he just walked in there very quietly. I'm sure the cats heard him. And he just left that picture leaning up against my toolbox. And my girlfriend had to go out there a couple hours later and said, "There's something out there for you." And I knew who it was from immediately. We all did. And it was that gorgeous picture, and I ripped a real nice picture right off my living room wall, and it's sitting right there and will be for forever until I'm gone. Bless you, Ricky, for everything you do for everybody.
I'm just going to piggyback on Brian real quick. I knew Rick about the same time Brian did. We all kind of grew up with Ricky. I reconnected with Ricky when he came back here from Colorado, ran into him at the pier, and we chatted and we kept running into each other. The next thing you know, I get a box in the mail, and Clay Bennett and a few of us used to surf for Hobie surfboards. It's a model, a wood-carved model of a Hobie surf shop. A little box, a little carved model of a surf shop, and it was Hobie. And like I said, he was doing stuff like that all the time. And then the last thing, it may be an urban rumor, I'm not sure, you guys can confirm it, but my understanding is one of the jobs that Ricky held was at Disney World as the dancing bear. And if anybody can confirm that, I'd rather just keep believing it, quite frankly, because that is Ricky. You can see Ricky as the dancing bear at Disney World being brilliant. Is that true? There we go. It's confirmed, and the Jungle Cruise. Perfect. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks, Rick.
So this one time when I went to the beach with Ricky, and I was like 2 or so, and he holded me in the water, and I just saw the waves with my eyes, and it was just beautiful. I mean, beautiful.
Hello, my name's Buddy McCormick. I was a friend of Ricky's in high school. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah. Closer.
I can't tell you any surfing stories about him, but I can tell you some football stories. He played defensive end. We were playing Parker one time, I think it was, our senior year. Steve McCoy's on one end, he's on the other end. Two fine defensive ends. Quarterback looked away and Ricky blindsided him from the back. It'd be a penalty today. He knocked him out, and Coach Taylor kept rewinding the tape. He liked it so much. Coach Taylor kept reminding him the thing because he liked it so much. Anyway, Ricky was a friend on Facebook. I'm sorry he passed away. Wild man suits him to a T, though. He's a good guy. Thank you.
I know how to talk into one of these. Anyway, my name is Don Minyard, and I've known Ricky. We moved here from Kentucky, me and Larry, when I was 8 years old. And y'all talk about how nice Ricky was. Well, he really wasn't that nice. I'll tell you why I know that. You know, Ricky lived right down the street from me, about 6 houses on Benton Drive. And I think he'd probably just gotten his driver's license at 16 or something, and I was in the front yard, and I was eating a bologna sandwich. And so Ricky comes by and he yells something nasty out at me. So I threw that bologna sandwich and it went through the window and hit him right in the side of the head. And he stopped the car and he says, "I'm going to beat your ass." Well, anyway, that was about a 15-minute run. I took off running, he took off running. We ran all around the neighborhood. I ended up hiding in somebody's garage. I don't really know what would have happened if he would have caught me, but I do remember I was scared to death. That's my one Ricky story. Now, I know we got a million of them, but him and David Dorr, that was his partner in crime sitting there. So most of you know that I'm a musician, have been, and I was playing a gig. I play piano. So I'm playing this gig somewhere, and, you know, people send you notes, requests. They come up and request songs. You get them on notes, play Margaritaville, play Brown Eyed Girl. So I'm used to getting that. So I get this note and open it up and look at it. It says, "The piano player sucks." I just start laughing. I look out in the audience, and who I see? There's Ricky sitting there laughing with David Dorr. So that's what they had sent me. The piano player sucks. But, you know, and Ricky, I hear all these stories about how things mysteriously shows up on your doorstep or in the mail.
Well, Ricky knew that I go hunting. We go out west, me and my brother in the wilderness and wander around. And all of a sudden one day, out of the blue, I get this thing in the mail, and I open it up and it's a book. And it's a book about how all these people disappear when they're in the woods, and it's a mystery. And he called, and about a day later, he called me and said, "Did you get the book?" And I said, "Yeah, I got it." He said, "Yeah, people just disappear all the time doing what you're doing. They just disappear." And so I read the first story, and it was funny. It was about some guy in Alaska that disappeared. I don't know if you've ever been to Alaska, but if you go out in the woods and disappear there, you're bear poop the next day. So I don't really think there's much mystery how people disappear.
Don, David says there was a dollar bill on that note.
Oh, there might have been a dollar bill, yeah. Was that you or Ricky? Probably both of you, but I'll never forget that. Yeah, the piano player sucks. Anyway.
Ricky used to hang out at our house. My brother is Doug Hardy, so he was a good buddy of his, and with Andy Estifer and Steve Pate and Monkey Sanders and all that other debauched crowd. Anyway, the one story I wanted to tell about Ricky is he got back in touch with Doug and I don't know when it was, but anyway, I was living in New York City when 9/11 happened, and the first person that called me that wasn't in the city was Ricky, just out of the blue, and he said, "Jane, are you okay?" And I said, "Yes," and he goes, "You want me to come get you?" And I said, "Oh, Rick, I don't know if that'd be safe right now." Anyway, but he was a lovely person. He always kept in touch, sent me pictures of his family and jokes and everything just via, Facebook Messenger, and so I always felt like, he was always connecting to all of his friends. And the last time I saw him was not too long ago at LA Fitness, and he just looked fantastic, so this was quite a shock. Anyway, that's what I wanted to say.
There he is. Flyover. My name is Nancy Faulkner, and I was not that terribly close to Rick a while ago until my brother, Larry Caldwell, was living in Fort Lauderdale, being a yacht broker, and Rick was down there. And Larry got colon cancer, and Rick took care of him and called me all the time with reports about how he was doing and how things were going along with him, and he took such good care of him, and I just treasure that so much. One time, I also got a mail package, but it was something that was illegal. And so he called me and said, "I left something in your mailbox." And I went, "I'm not home." He goes, "Well, you better get there." So I got home, and I thankfully knew my mailman very well, and he knocked on my door, and he goes, "You got something in your mailbox not supposed to be here." And I said, "What is that?" And he goes, "I don't know, but you better get it in quick. It's starting to melt." So, little chocolate chips were melting. So I got that from him, and I think his mantra would be, buy the ticket and take the ride. So God bless him and all of us for being here today.
Yikes, that's making a noise.
Hey, Steve.
All right, Steve Foraker, everybody.
Mic drop. Hey, Steve Foraker. I'm really reading this for Julie Johnson Hankinson. She sent it to me last night, and the first part of it, she's talking about her mom had grown old and ill, and had druggies over fixing things in her house. And one of the druggies, and I don't want to offend anyone here with that, but one of the druggies had installed the key to the front door upside down, so anyone could walk in, but her mom could not walk out. If anyone knew Julie's mom, you would understand that was not a good thing. She said, after telling that, she said, "I called Ricky, who said, 'Where are you?' On Bay Street. I'm on 3rd Street. I'll be right there." Within 10 minutes, Ricky had fixed the lock and refused to take payment. My brother had said, "Mom has to go to a nursing home." That was Buford, if you remember Buford. Nope, she wanted to stay in her home as long as possible. we hired my wonderful friend Ricky Wilkinson, who oversaw her lawn maintenance, roof repairs, painting, fence replacements, solar water heater repairs, critter detection, you name it. He even ran off a few trolls who scoured the neighborhood for vulnerable old folks. Some wood on Mom's porch had rotted, so Ricky replaced it. When Mom asked how much she owed for it, Ricky said, "Oh, I stole that and passed the savings on to you." It was simply leftover wood, but he wouldn't charge Mom for it. If it hadn't been for Ricky, my mother could not have stayed in her home. Luckily, she did until the day she died, thanks to Ricky. She adored him, and he was just the right person at the right time, a lifesaver. Ricky called me one of his rocking angels, but I know who the true angel is. And Ricky, I wouldn't have a refrigerator in my house. I wouldn't have a bed upstairs in my house. Ricky took them all there. He made railings for me to go down my stairs as I got a little feeble, and he saved my life. I was having a heart attack, and he was coming over. And I'd called a cousin to come pick me up, but I forgot Ricky was coming over. So he says, I said, "I think I might be having a heart attack, Ricky." And he said, "Hop in." And he starts squealing. I mean, he laid on that gas pedal and maybe ran a red light or two. And he was heading toward Baptist, and I said, "No, Ricky, we're crossing the ditch. We're going to Mayo." And because Baptist didn't have the same kind of heart facilities as Mayo did. He squealed me up to that emergency room, walked me in, made sure I was situated, and I think saved my life. But he was just an amazing person, one of a kind. Come on up. I know you got stories. Who's got another story? Don't be shy. Ricky wouldn't. Well, Hank?
Oh, thank you. Good to see you. Yeah, I left one story out. When Landis and I traveled to California a few years ago, Ricky was our chauffeur there. And coming back, I was going to call Uber or, some other way. Ricky said, "No, I'll come get you." He comes, picks us up, and I've heard other people have had this experience, but he picks us up with his black coat on. We get in the back seat, there's a bar set up there, a bottle of red wine, and cheese and crackers, right, Landis? So, thank you all.